Ohayo. Welcome to the So Japanese podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things that are uniquely Japanese. We are your hosts. My name is John.
My name is Ryusuke.
Thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you.
Today, we're going to talk about our top 10 street foods of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, we're going to have a street level Japanese segment.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, what qualifies as a street food in general? Not just in Japan, all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
We came up with a few criteria,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be, the first one would be generally the food stall or the establishment
Mm-hmm.
only sells one specialty item.
Yeah.
And because it's street food,
Mm-hmm.
they don't offer seating.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need utensils or minimal utensils.
Yeah.
So in Japan, it would be like chopsticks
Mm-hmm.
at the most.
Mm-hmm. Or even toothpick.
Toothpick or skewers.
Skewers,
right?
Yeah.
And street food, we believe that it should be quite affordable.
Mm-hmm.
So all these food items that we're going to talk about is under 500 yen. So,
Mm-hmm. So under $5.
Yeah. Any other criteria for street food?
Well, street food in general, I mean, you can buy in a like a shotengai or like all those like a lot of like shopping malls.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of time also there's festivals, matsuri.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's also good to go if you wanna focus, if you wanna expand your experience of street food in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some Japanese street food eating etiquette?
Mm-hmm.
I would say we mentioned this before, but it's seen as impolite to eat and walk at the same time
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in general.
In general,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of the times, even though the establishment doesn't have seating or just maybe like a couple of stools or just one table put outside, you'll see people eat it standing up still around the store.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I guess some foods, if it's in a skewer, maybe you can eat it while walking.
Yeah.
How about like in festivals, matsuris?
Yeah, in festival, everybody's eating like while
Okay.
they're, like browsing around and
Okay.
to see other items or for
So
the matsuri. Yeah.
in festivals, it's allowed to eat and walk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And normally there's like bunch of garbage bin everywhere. So like you eat and then you know where to throw away all your garbage too, right?
But that's in festivals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I find like in general, walking around the streets of Japan, there's not many garbage cans.
No.
Was that like a safety thing? Like
I-
growing up, were there garbage cans, and then maybe because of like bombings and stuff? Because I know in some cities with bombings and stuff,
Right.
they took
Right.
garbage cans away.
Mm-hmm. Maybe because of after there's like some incident about like terrorists or whatever, and then they're trying to minimize all those like garbage bins in public.
Hiding places.
Yeah.
So because the Japanese are so polite and respectful that even if you have like food trash, you will keep it with you. You'll put it in your bag or keep it with you until you find
the garbage bin.
but like I said, a lot of people will eat their food around the stall that's selling them. So after you're done, you can give it to them too.
Or they set up garbage bin in front of the shop. Yeah.
All right, so let's run down our top 10 street foods of Japan. Coming in at number 10 are Crips.
Crepe.
Crips. They're the same as like the French crepes, right?
Yeah,
Nice and thin.
Yeah.
Cooked with that round circular griddle. But in Japan, they kind of turned it into a street food where they roll the crepe into like kind of like a cone shape and wrap it with paper so you can eat it on the go.
Yeah.
In France, I would say their crepes, they have savory and sweet as well. But what are the common fillings in Japan?
Well, in Japan, we have the savory and sweet bowls, but I think the most common is cream, like whipped cream with fruit. And I think most famous one is banana, cream, and chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, fruits, ice cream too. Right?
And ice cream, yeah.
You can find a lot of those crepe stalls in Harajuku.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
like colorful one, and they like I think we talk about this, like normally the food store, they have the pictures, or even they have the, how to say, it's like a plastic
mold
version
of it.
Yeah, but looks exactly same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see that everywhere in Harajuku. Coming in at number 9 is Ikayaki.
Ikayaki.
So Ika is
squid. Yeah.
And yaki just means
yaki means like grilled or
right?
baked. Yeah,
baked or
yeah.
So Ikayaki is battered and griddled squid pieces.
Yeah.
And it's like pressed and then folded to almost look like a taco. It's like folded pancake.
It looks like
half.
like and half pancake. Yeah.
And it's brushed with yakisoba sauce. What's yakisoba sauce?
Yakisoba sauce is basically Japanese version of Worcester sauce. Yeah, but like more thicker,
yeah,
and more sweet. It's savory, but you can tell like sweet side also there. So yeah.
And you can order this with egg or without.
Without, yeah.
And it's a specialty of the Kansai region.
Yeah, like if you go the department store,
yeah,
called Hanshin Hyakaten.
Okay.
And there's a food called snack food space. And then you can find one of the most famous Ikayaki store at there, and it's very cheap. It's like almost 200 yen.
I want to say the Kansai region loves their street food. There's like a lot of street food that are special from that area,
like
right?
they use a lot of like a flour. Yeah. Okay. So it's called konamon. Kona means powder.
Okay.
And powder is flour. Right? Yeah. So they have konamon bunka, like a flour history. Sorry, how to say? Culture.
Culture.
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny. Flour culture.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 8, we have croquettes.
Korokke.
And I think we mentioned this before, but it's like a form of yoshoku, right? So it's a food item like borrowed from another country. So croquettes originally maybe French.
I think it's French croquette.
Yeah, right? But they eat them all throughout Europe. I think other European countries have their own version. The Japanese one in specific, korokke, is deep fried panko, like Japanese breadcrumb crusted mashed potato.
Yes, yeah,
with like
potato.
Different fillings.
But like without butter and like not so like
thin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like mostly just a potato.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are common fillings for Japanese koroke?
Either just potato, or they also add some braised ground beef and an onion mixed with the potato in it.
Yeah.
Or curry flavor croquette. I think those two are most common, and it's really cheap.
Koroke, whenever I've had it, it's like with no sauce. Right?
Yeah, no sauce. I mean, you can ask sauce if they have, but like they already put the flavor in it. Yeah, so you can just see it.
And you can find these at convenience stores.
Convenience stores, yeah. And then also like a small on meat shop.
Okay.
They also have like croquette. Yeah.
Yes, we will get to one of them where I think it was like a beef butcher shop invented it.
Yep.
But anyway, number 7, we have yaki imo.
Yakimo.
So again, yaki, baked, grilled, and imo is
potato, but sweet potato.
Japanese sweet potato.
Yeah, yakimo is always sweet potato.
Okay.
It's not like lasa or it's not yukan. It's always sweet potato.
And it's baked in, how is it baked?
Baked in like hot stone.
Okay.
So they wrap with almond foil, or they just even put by themselves into the hot stone and just keep it to cook it.
And then when you buy it, it's common. You'll see like almost like trucks or like vans.
Yeah, K-trucks.
K-trucks that are selling yaki imo out of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have like a loudspeaker.
Yeah, they have loudspeaker with the music. Yakimo dekitate. Okay. Yeah, when I was kid, I heard that a lot.
Super cheap, right?
Super cheap. Yeah, super cheap.
And how it's served, they'll just give you the potato.
They just give you the potato with maybe paper bag. And how you eat, just like, just crack half.
Okay.
And then peel
the skin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very sweet.
What would you say are the main differences between Japanese sweet potato and like the Western yellow sweet potato / yam?
Japanese sweet potato is more firm.
Okay.
But the sweet potato in North America, the orange one, is more like watery.
Yes.
Like a lot of water.
Yeah, the Japanese sweet potato is definitely more dense.
Yeah, dense. Yes.
It's almost, when you eat yaki imo, it's almost like custardy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's more creamy.
More creamy. Yeah.
They're way smaller. At the supermarkets, you can find like yams that are fucking huge. But the Japanese sweet potato are thinner, smaller.
Yeah.
Sweeter?
I think so.
I think sweeter too. Yeah. Sometimes when they're baked really nicely, like even the insides even like caramelize. It gets almost like chewy and sticky. Yeah. Yaki imo. So simple, but so good.
So good. Yeah.
Number 6 is what we were talking about. It's a form of, it's almost like a koroke.
Yeah.
Right. And it's was invented by like butcher shops, and I think they invented it because they wanted to use like the trim
or the meat scrap.
Yeah, meat scraps.
Yep.
And that's menchikatsu.
Menchikatsu.
So same thing, like a koroke, deep fried, panko crusted, but normally inside it's
ground beef.
Yeah,
with onion. So it's basically, it's like a patty.
Like a hamburger patty.
Okay. Yeah.
No potato.
But it's way thicker. And why they call menchikatsu? Because menchi means minchi. Minchi in Japanese means minced. Yeah.
So a minced katsu.
Minced katsu. Yes.
Sounds way cuter in Japanese.
Menchikatsu.
I know in Kyoto they have like a famous one, and it's like a fancier. It's like instead of minced, it's like sliced beef, and I think it's like wagyu.
Of course.
So wagyu, thinly sliced, and it's just layered. So yeah, that's good too.
Nice.
All right, number 5. This is like a sweet and savory one.
Yeah.
And that's mitarashi dango.
Mitarashi dango.
That is not mochi, but it's like mochi.
Yeah.
Because mochi is like steamed glutinous rice, pounded, and it's like chewier. There's more of a bounce to it.
Yeah, more chewier.
Yeah. Dango is a little bit softer.
Yeah,
so
and more dense.
It's more dense.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not pounded steamed rice. It's just flour.
Flour. Yeah.
Yeah. Various rice flours. And it's boiled or grilled. I think it's grilled, right?
Grilled. Yes.
So they take the dough. It's like little balls. One skewer normally has 3 balls.
Well, mitarashi has like, I would say like small 5 to 6 balls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it depends on the shop. Depends on where you get. Yeah.
And it's brushed with like a sweet
soy glaze. Yeah. So like it's more sweet side, but obviously because they mix with soy and sugar, so it's like a soy almost syrup.
Yes.
Kind of. Yeah.
And again, you find this a lot in even like temples.
Yeah.
Right. And it's always served with green tea. I think most sweets in Japan like to be served with green tea, right?
Yeah, with tea.
It's the balance of the bitter and the sweetness. Of the dessert.
That's what I think the Japanese sweets invented for tea.
That's true. That's
it's like
true.
Matcha, like tea ceremony.
Yes.
When they have the matcha, they always have some sweets as well. Yeah.
We should do a podcast on Japanese tea ceremonies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks so peaceful when you're making it, right? It's like theater.
Yeah, it's almost like meditation.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Going back to the amount of dangos, it's not a maybe it's superstitious, but the Japanese don't like to plate anything or serve any food that definitely not in 4s, right? It's like more odd numbers. I think if you plate food with like an odd number of items, it's more pleasing to the eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't see like a skewer of 4, would you?
No.
Because 4
is because 4 means, I mean,
sounds.
We call shi,
Yep.
Yong or shi.
Yeah.
But shi means also death.
Yeah.
So like we don't like the number.
That's the same thing in Chinese too. 4 sounds
Right?
like death.
And here's what, like Western culture, there's a bad number too, no?
13.
Right, 13.
But that's a Christian thing. It doesn't sound like death. But I think it was because in the last dinner, Last Supper had 13 people. So, yeah, in apartment buildings or condos that are like heavily Asian residents.
Yeah, sometimes they don't even have the 4th floor, or if they have 4th floor, they don't have 404.
Yeah, or some don't even have 14 or 24. Yeah.
Also a parking lot. Sometimes there's no 4 because no one wants to park there.
So in Chinese, I don't think there's like an alternate word for 4. But in Japanese there is.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to say she 4, you can say yong.
Yong. Yeah. Yeah.
More polite or just
I think more like luck.
yeah, it's a luck thing, right?
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
And number 4. It doesn't mean we don't like this item.
We have karage.
Karage.
I think karage is well known around the world now. Japanese fried chicken.
Yeah.
what makes karaage compared to other fried chickens around the world?
I think the Western fried chicken is they are dusted.
Yes.
So it's like dry dredge. But Japanese one, a lot of time they marinate with soy-based marinade, and then they mix flour with the marinade chicken. So it makes like crunchy and soft.
So it's almost like lightly battered it becomes, right? And I've never seen karaage with the bone.
No.
Right?
Karaage, when Japanese people heard karaage, it should be no bone.
Yeah.
And normally chicken thigh.
Chicken thigh.
Chicken breast. Yeah, because chicken breast gets so dry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like, I hate chicken breast.
Yeah. And little bit of side story, but in here, I mean, Western culture, chicken breast is more expensive than chicken thigh.
Yes.
But in Japan, chicken thigh is more expensive than chicken breast.
That makes sense, man.
I think it's just the demand of,
Demand, exactly. That makes total sense. And it's always like bite-sized pieces, like more like nuggets.
Yeah. So it's definitely easy to eat on the street. Like normally you get in a cup or in a paper bag, and then they give you like toothpick or something or sticks, so you can just eat, right?
The next one, number 3, is ice cream. And it's not, I guess ice cream is not Japanese, but the flavors is more Japanese. And in Japan, ice cream is called
soft cream.
Soft cream would be soft serve. But ice cream, you guys just call it ice.
Ice, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess, that's the difference between like...
And soft cream, why we put this, because like when you go anywhere in Japan, they normally have like soft serve. Especially like, in Tokyo, but outside of Tokyo, if you travel like... Anywhere, they have their own flavor. Yeah. Like for example, in Nagoya, we are famous with the miso, like dark kan miso, hacho miso. So like we have the hacho miso ice cream.
Have you had that before?
Yeah, it's good though.
Yeah.
It's basically
like sweet and savory.
Sweet and savory.
Okay.
But like it's more sweet side, of course. So, yeah.
Yeah, going back to we mentioned this a few times before, but Japan has its regional specialties. So everywhere has their specialties, and that goes for ice cream flavors, right?
Yep.
But I would say the most popular ice cream flavors in Japan is matcha, obviously.
Matcha, yeah.
And
then
fresh milk.
Yeah.
Fresh milk. I think that's really unique to Japan, because over here in Western cultures, you order ice cream or you see ice cream, it's rare to see like a milk flavor, right? But I think they like they understand the milk has its own flavor, right? And it's really, I don't know how to describe it, but the fresh milk soft cream flavor is milk.
It's milk.
Yeah.
But I think because of like the fat percentage of milk, it makes like more creamier.
Yes.
And more flavorful.
Yeah.
That's why like when they say like milk vanilla ice cream means like it's more creamy.
Yeah, more milky. Yeah. It's like it's thicker. It's a better mouthfeel, but it does taste like milk. Like, it tastes like cow.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Next we have number 2 is taiyaki.
Taiyaki.
Tai is it's a type of fish, right?
Yeah. It's snapper.
Snapper. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like a waffle batter, and it's pressed it's cooked in these molds that are fish shaped. So again, it has nothing to do with fish flavor.
No,
it's a sweet actually.
It's a sweet. Yeah.
The more common flavors would be sweet red bean paste.
Yeah, anko. Or cream. I mean custard cream. Yes.
Chocolate. I've never tried this one, but you can have sweet potato filling, right?
Yeah. No, I never heard.
That makes sense because it's like kind of cream. Like we said, emo is very creamy. It's dense.
And then I think at some point, one taiyaki shop gets very popular because normally taiyaki, it's like the listener, if you think about waffle, it's brown.
Yes.
But this taiyaki was white.
Okay.
So I think they use rice flour instead of regular flour.
So the texture is like
chewier, and then the color is white. So like shiro taiyaki was like popular at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. But regular taiyaki is still good too.
Yeah, taiyaki is really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Crispy and then
crispy
soft,
outside and then soft inside.
Yeah, sweet, dense filling.
And cheap.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never tried these, but apparently now it's common to see savory options.
Really?
Yeah, like gyoza filling.
Oh.
Like Japanese dumplings, pork mince, vegetable filling.
So it's like a sausage roll. Kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they even have sausage.
Oh.
Yeah, sausage taiyaki.
Really?
I guess it sticks out of the fish's mouth.
So it's like a pogo.
Yes, like a corn dog.
Corn dog.
So you can find taiyaki in
anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah, all the shopping streets there'll be at least one stall that sells it. And if as a tourist you might not know that it's sweets because you see fish, it's fish shaped, right? You might think it's a
savory
fish pancake, but
no,
it's not sweet.
Yeah.
Give it a try. And our last one, maybe the most famous Japanese street food.
I think so.
I see it more and more in Western cultures now, but I think if you were just to explain it to a Westerner, they might think it's gross, right? And that's takoyaki.
Takoyaki.
Taco is
octopus,
and again yaki. All these foods are actually like all yakis almost.
Yaki. Yeah.
So takoyaki, octopus grilled, but it's cooked in a special pan that makes them into like a shape of a ball. So it's like a batter, a wheat-based flour batter, and it's cooked not like a pancake. It's more like molten inside. It's like
it's almost like undercooked.
Yeah,
you feel, but it's cooked.
That's true. That's true.
And then you don't want to like fully cook, kind of like mushy takoyaki.
Okay.
When you eat takoyaki, you always expect like
it's like almost like liquid. Yeah. So outside of the ball is nice and crusty, caramelized, and then inside it's like more liquid, soft texture,
juicy.
And so inside it's like octopus piece, like a bite-sized cooked octopus piece, pickled ginger, green onion, and this is common in a lot of Japanese food. Inside the takoyaki they also put tempura scraps. So tempura is like tenkatsu is like battered deep fried foods, right?
Yeah.
And
it's like a tempura bits.
Yeah, it's the bits. So when you fry it in oil, the bits will come apart from the food item, and you gather all the bits. And that's a common topping. So it's inside takoyaki. It's also sometimes if you go to a udon shop, you'll have on the table, there's like a
tempura
container of just the tempura bits. But I always found it weird because the Japanese like putting deep fried, crispy, battered tempura foods into soup. So then it becomes not crispy anymore. So I always found it weird that you're putting tempura bits inside soup and it just gets instantly soggy.
Soggy, yeah.
Why would you think that's...
Well, because I love tenkatsu, I love tempura, I love tempura udon, tempura soba. I think, of course, like crispy tempura, it's good. But when we think tempura udon, tempura soba, even takoyaki, we actually want it like soak in the soup. So like when you eat it, all the butter sucked the dashi, right? The broth. So like you can taste the flavor of like shrimp tempura, shrimp, and then the dashi all together. So, and then because of a little bit of oil makes more rich.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. It's like thickened broth in your mouth. It becomes, right?
Yeah. So like you want to add tenkatsu and udon or soba. It's not because you want to keep you want to have crunchy texture. It's more like you want to get the extra flavor from the tenkatsu and oil.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been to some places though where that container of tempura bits might be too old, and then the oil tastes. Have you had that before?
No.
Like where the oil then soaks up the broth, but it tastes like old cooking oil. You know what I mean?
Or maybe you get it like the bottom one.
I think that's like thrown me off tempura bits.
Yeah, that's no good.
And then I think there's many variations of takoyaki now, but the OG regular garnish is, what is it?
Takoyaki sauce and mayo.
Takoyaki sauce and mayo.
Aonori.
And that's what?
Aonori is seaweed, but dry, green seaweed.
And it's like powder
like
flakes.
Powder, yes. Yeah. But you can get all like sea flavor from that.
What's the difference between takoyaki sauce and like yakisoba sauce?
I would say it's almost the same.
Right?
It's same, but like they like takoyaki store, even like okonomiyaki stores, they make their own sauce.
Okay.
So they have Worcester sauce and they add maybe ketchup, or they even add some like special like a fruit sauce.
Okay.
To make it like sweet, savory.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like with a lot of Japanese foods, it gets a topping of bonito flakes.
That's
Katsuobushi.
Yeah, and it's kind of like moving. When you put bonito flake in a fresh made warm food, and then you can tell it's moving.
The steam lights.
Yeah.
White people love that.
Yeah. Wow.
They think it's still alive or something.
That's what my parents told me when I was a kid. And I was believing. I was like, still alive.
So Katsuobushi is smoked, dried
bonito,
like a fillet of bonito.
And they shaped it.
Exactly. Thin
like
shape.
A paper thing.
And that's why when it's put on hot or warm food, the steam of the food kind of makes... Because it's sliced so thin, shaved so thin that it kind of moves. But the piece of fish itself, it's like hard as a rock.
It's
like
really
you can use that as a hammer.
Yeah.
So that does it for our top 10 Japanese street foods. We hope that if you, after COVID, if you're going to visit there, and you should try all of these.
And obviously in Japan, there's so many variety of street food we didn't even mention.
Exactly.
So like every city has like different street food. So like when you go different city, when you go Kyoto, when you go Osaka, when you go Hokkaido, you're gonna know. Like you can get like their specialty street food.
Exactly, especially if you visit, if you go to any Japanese festivals, there's many more options. So the listeners out there, let us know if we missed any of your favorites. or if you disagree with our list, let us know. Because, like Rusuke said, it would have to be like top 50.
Yeah.
Included
definitely.
it at all.
Yeah. Because I can I say one street food like we didn't talk? It's from Gifu, Hida,
Okay.
Takayama. They're famous for wagyu called Hidagyu. And on the street, they have a Hidagyu sushi shop.
Oh, cool.
And how they serve is kind of interesting because like it's a nigiri style. It's not raw sushi. It's a nigiri style. So you can get 2 pieces of wagyu nigiri sushi on top of the shrimp cracker. So that's the tray.
That's cool.
So they give you sushi with the shrimp cracker. So you eat the wagyu sushi. Then at the end, you can eat the cracker as well.
Sustainable.
Yeah. And I think when I had that, it was like, well, this is great. I mean, first of all, wagyu sushi. And this is not 500 yen. I'll say it's a little bit more pricier than usual. But
that's why it's not on the list.
Exactly. But it's really,
seared?
really good. No, raw,
just raw. Nice.
Yeah. And they put some wasabi on top. And obviously they already brush some soy sauce or like special sauce. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a honorable mention.
Yeah. So there's all those different food everywhere.
We might as well give another honorable mention. Onigiri.
Yep. Onigiri.
So I would say it's one of the more common foods you would pick up at a convenience store in Japan, right? So it's Japanese rice, just seasoned lightly with salt, molded into, it could be many shapes, but the traditional shapes like a
mostly triangle.
Wrapped in a sheet of nori, seaweed. And now there's all sorts of fillings.
Yeah, filling is like, I think one of the most famous one is tsunamayo. Yeah. Which is it's like a canned tuna mixed with mayo, and then they filling in onigiri.
What's your favorite onigiri flavor?
My favorite is seaweed kombu.
Oh yeah,
so
okay,
like
so it's
they braise kombu seaweed with like soy glaze, and they fill in
it's like chopped up.
Yeah, yeah, and then fill in a rice bowl. It's very simple, but I love it.
There's one flavor that I tried many times, and I never really got it. And you can even find it in bentos, where on the rice, in the middle, you'll have a
umeboshi.
Umeboshi. So umeboshi is, what is that?
It's a pickled plum.
Dried pickled plum.
Yeah, dried pickled,
but not
plum.
dried hardened.
Yeah,
no, it's like dried a bit.
Yeah.
So it's like more salty and
sour.
Right?
It's very sour, actually.
Very, very sour.
Yeah. It's like when you go hospital or whatever, even like this time with COVID, you have to have a test.
Yes.
And you need to spit.
Okay.
They show you umeboshi picture, so the body
starts salivating.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. For Japanese, it's like when people say umeboshi, we get
you start salivating.
Yeah.
It is really sour. But I guess I feel like it's a real Japanese comfort food though.
It's really
typical breakfast item.
Typical breakfast item. Typical item for onigiri. Yeah.
Maybe I had a bite where the rice and umeboshi ratio was off, and I took a bite of like that sourness.
That's why, like, I don't like they stuff like one piece of umeboshi in the middle. I always rather they chop them, mix with the rice.
Yeah, that makes
and then
more
make
sense.
it onigiri.
So when it's the umeboshi is right in the middle of the rice, you're supposed to like kind of use your chopsticks and like rip small bits off,
or you bite a little bit,
okay.
and then
chase it with rice.
Yeah, chase it with rice. Yeah. And also, why umeboshi is popular with onigiri? Because it won't get bad. Because it's salt, like hard cured salt and sour. And onigiri is originally for bento, right? Which is like you want to keep for your lunchtime. So like you make onigiri in the morning, but you're not sure if the onigiri is going to stay. But because of the umeboshi, it kills bacteria and all the stuff. Yeah. So you can keep safe.
It keeps food safe.
Exactly.
I think it's every culture has that one like farmer food, right? It's for when farmers are tending the fields. They need energy throughout the day, but there's no refrigeration. It keeps, right?
Yeah.
So that's like onigiri is a farmer food, I'm sure.
I want to ask you from this 10 street food, what's your most favorite?
My most favorite, number one, man, takoyaki.
Takoyaki?
Yeah, takoyaki.
Have you had a lot while you're in Japan?
Yeah, well, I lived in Kansai, right?
Right.
So pretty much every time going to Osaka. And then Osaka has many famous takoyaki shops, right?
They're the main city.
Yeah. But I remember the first time I had it, I expected the balls to be kind of more dense, like kind of more cooked through, like more pancakey. And then that's like you said it was undercooked. That's what I thought. Yo, they didn't cook this. Also, if you eat it fresh, it's fucking hot.
It's really hot. It's dangerously hot.
It is
hot.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of the logos or the drawings on the stores, it's like a cartoon drawing of the octopus and then kind of like blowing its mouth like yeah, it's really, really, really hot.
It's hot.
Yeah. I guess we should give tips of how to eat takoyaki. Wait a bit, or bite a small hole.
It's like a xiaolanpo.
Exactly. Bite a small hole, blow, let the soup cool, let the molten batter cool. But the umami flavor of takoyaki, so it's molten, but then you got that crunchy, chewy piece of taco. It's nice contrast, right? Okay, how about yours? What's your favorite?
My favorite, I like everything, but I'll say crepe kana.
Number 10, so we shouldn't have put that at number 10. Well, I guess our list was like also ranking how Japanese these foods are, how common you can find them.
Yeah.
Do you like savory or sweet crepes?
I like savory.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to eat the sausage inside. Okay. Sausage, lettuce, mayo.
Yeah, there's the tuna mayo is also
tuna mayo
a
as
common
well.
crepe.
Yeah.
You guys love and mayo. Japanese call it mayo.
Mayonnaise. Yeah.
Japanese mayo is way better than Western mayonnaise.
More flavor,
creamier. Is Kewpie mayo like the go-to mayo in Japan, or are there other brands?
No, Kewpie.
Yeah,
for
Kewpie
sure
is the one, right?
Yeah.
It's so much more umami. I think they use more egg yolk.
And I think more season.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, different season.
More MSG, probably. It's just so good. Now, whenever I think of mayonnaise, it's Kewpie or nothing.
Yeah. And yeah, like in Japan, there's a famous word called someone who loves mayo.
Okay.
We call mayora.
Mayora.
Yeah. Mayora means like they even carry small bottle of mayo with them whenever they go restaurant.
Yeah.
And they take it at it, which I think it's no good for the restaurant, right?
Yes.
Why you put mayo?
Yeah. You're ruining.
Yeah.
If we wanted you to use mayo, we would have put mayo.
Yeah.
That's probably a Japanese subculture too.
For sure. Yeah. And I heard like some Japanese people, they even just eat.
Squirt it in their mouth?
Yeah.
I mean, mayo, Japanese mayo and rice, I can eat that.
I try and I don't like it.
It's not bad, man.
Really?
It's like it reminds me of the texture of like tartar sauce on rice.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like Japanese tartar sauce, it's served with the fried shrimp, and then with the rice, or chicken nanban, right? Like
Tartar
karage
sauce.
with tartar sauce, right?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that.
Yeah, Japanese people love mayo though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
When I first moved there, I didn't realize the mayonnaise culture.
But like again, like a lot of street food, like there's always option like you can add mayonnaise.
Yes.
Even karaage, you can ask like, you have mayo dipping sauce? Yeah.
I guess for a regular traveler, you wouldn't expect that the Japanese love mayonnaise so much. Okay, this has become the mayonnaise podcast. Next up, we have our street level Japanese segment for today. Again, street level Japanese is a segment where we use to introduce more street level slang, informal Japanese. So within the Japanese language, there's formal Japanese and informal Japanese. That's a big thing. Today's word, we have ora.
Ora.
So if any of our listeners watched any Japanese Yakuza movies, or I'm sure manga or anime, the villain, right, the bad guy speaks like this. So loosely translated, ora is like, hey you, look here, or even you bastard, and it's generally used at the end of a sentence.
Yeah.
So in Japanese, there's no real swear words per se. It's more how you pronounce it, right? And
like more sound wise.
Yeah. So if you want to show that you're angry, you use ora at the end of the sentence of what you want to say. And the more you curl the R, or the longer you say it, pronounce it, it sounds more rude and more angry. So Ryusuke will give you 2 examples of how to say it.
So if I'm working on the street, I hit my shoulder with someone else and I'm an angry guy, then I say, Nandora. Nandora.
Ora.
Ora.
And
Or again, I'm an angry guy. If somebody keeps staring at me, then I say, ora. Like, why are you looking at me? But like, ora.
What if you used ora in a business work setting?
Never. You don't say never. It's
Is it-
so rude.
It's so rude.
So rude. Then you gotta get fired right away.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, all your business gonna be over. Yeah.
Have you ever really used... I can't imagine you as a person that uses ora. Have you ever used that like regularly?
Only when I get really mad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like really mad.
Okay.
Yeah. But I use it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good word. I've never used it. I don't think I've ever had it used against me, thankfully.
Yeah.
But-
You better not.
Yeah. I've only seen it in movies, like Bozuzoku, people will say it, or we mentioned in one Japanglish episode where we segment where we describe Yankees. It's something Yankees would say. Right?
Yankees. Yeah. Like, if I do something wrong, and then my older friend is no agree with me, then he or she say like, "What ora, nanda ora?" Like, why are you doing? But
it sounds more angry.
Exactly. The only word will be like, ora.
So nande is just why.
Yeah.
But if I add nande ora,
Yeah.
it's
Nanda ora.
oh fuck.
Yeah.
He's pissed.
That means I'm like, sumimasen. Sumimasen. But they keep coming.
Okay, so
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed that street level Japanese segment.
Hopefully, you're not gonna hear this word from
Yeah.
someone to you, and
I,
you don't have to use this.
I hope we explained the word, so when you've seen it or you've heard it in whatever TV shows you watch, or movies you watch. Yeah.
Yep.
So that does it for today's episode. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Again, we are on all the social media platforms now. So, but in terms of the podcast, wherever you find your podcasts, please like, follow, subscribe, rate us, give us a review. We're also on YouTube now. So if you guys don't mind, it would help us a lot if you just subscribe to our channel. And yeah, all the podcasts are up on YouTube as well.
はい。
So again, thank you for listening.
Thank you. ありがとう。
Arigato. Bye bye.
またね。
バイバイ
バイバイ。バイバイ。バイバイ。